Want to get fluency in Spanish really fast? Use these amazing 14 tips to improve your Spanish speaking skills today. I'm Spring Spanish teacher Maura, and here is your tip number 1. Número 1. Listen to as much as possible. Este tipo de consejos me molestan porque suenan tan simples que es difícil transmitir la importancia real que tienen. The reality is that I can't stress enough how game-changing it is to listen to as much Spanish as possible. Doing so will help you to ampliar la cantidad de sonidos que puedes reconocer. Es exactamente como ejercitar cualquier otro músculo. Conseguir la sensación de lo que está bien y lo que está mal. Lo que te ayudará probablemente más que nada a hablar correctamente más adelante. Asimilar el ritmo o la musicalidad del idioma, lo cual es aún más importante que la pronunciación y ciertamente ayuda con ello. Aprender chunks de uso frecuente. Some chunks do appear more than others, and the more you listen, the more natural they'll become. That way, you'll start using them like a true native. I remember when, after spending some time in the US, I started saying right and, as much as the natives. Definitivamente aumentó mi sentido de pertenencia a la lengua y amplió mi sensación de libertad dentro de ella. Make sure to stick till the end to get some useful advice on how to approach the psychological aspect of all of this, which is certainly a defining one. What you can do to practice listening. By all means, usa tanta creatividad como quieras con el cómo y cuándo practicas escuchar. To give you a little push though, here's my top advice. Añádelo a otra parte de tu rutina. En realidad, esto funciona con cualquier cosa que quieras incorporar a tu rutina. The easiest way is to link it to other things you already do, like conducir, ducharse, hacer ejercicio, pasear al perro. Put something in Spanish, a TV show, a podcast, one of our listening videos, even music. And while you do what you do, pay attention to it. Tu cerebro hará el trabajo por ti. Siempre escoge algo que te interese auténticamente. We instinctively know that to teach children anything, it is important to make it entertaining and fun. No sé cuándo decidimos que los adultos somos diferentes. We're not, so keep it fun. Mira episodios repetidos de tus programas favoritos en español. If you watch an episode of Friends in Spanish, for example, that you've watched a million times before, and you'll be creating a ton of associations in the process. Además, seguro que te ríes de lo raro que se escuchan todos en otro idioma. Juega con tus subtítulos, primero en inglés, luego en español. Si te son cómodos los subtítulos, juega con ellos. Watching something in Spanish with English subtitles first, then with Spanish subtitles, and finally without them. It's a great way to continue to create associations without much effort. Remember that what you're doing is making up for an entire upbringing of constant Spanish. Por eso, la cantidad sí importa. Apréndete una canción de memoria. If you're into music, please do this. Es exactamente como yo aprendí inglés. I just loved to learn songs in English, practicing a million times with the lyrics, translating them, and fully understanding them. La sensación de poder cantar la canción y saber lo que estaba diciendo era súper motivadora. Plus, now you'll know how to say everything that's said on that song, and your pronunciation will get so much better. Número 2. Practicing speaking. Speaking is the other phase of listening, but it does make sense that it comes after it. Tal y como fue naturalmente con tu lengua materna. To start practicing though, take the following into consideration. La práctica hace al maestro. Again, a simple oldie but goodie. It is necessary to practice a lot of speaking in Spanish in order to get to a good level. No hay por dónde. Jungle alert! No hay por dónde is exactly how you would say there's no way around it in Spanish. It's quite similar really, since the idea of no hay por dónde is that there's no path you can take to avoid it. Remember to check the link in the description to access our free Essential Spanish Chunking Kit if you feel like getting some even more common chunks we natives use every day. Ahora, tu siguiente consejo para practicar hablar es: repite para ti. Just as you did as a child in your native language. Repeat chunks, words, or even whole sentences when practicing listening. Acumula la práctica que haces en varios días seguidos. If you know how to drive or how to ride a bicycle or have trained in anything, you know there's an accumulation effect. Lo mismo pasa con el habla. If you only do it for a few minutes a week, you'll make it harder for your brain to accumulate knowledge and skills. So, even if you have to take breaks every now and then, intenta acumular la práctica que sí puedas hacer durante varios días seguidos. Sé valiente y habla tú también. When speaking with a native, it is important to speak yourself at least 50% of the time. Many learners enter a conversation and because they don't feel comfortable, they let the other person monopolize it. No te servirá de mucho y no se sentirá tan satisfactorio como podría si te atreves. Mistakes are welcome. Ve un paso a la vez. Not everyone will feel comfortable with speaking several times a week for an hour or so right away. Está bien aumentar la dificultad poco a poco. First sending chat messages back and forth, then voice messages, then practicing conversations by yourself, then short chats, only then longer conversations. Otra cosa que puedes hacer es convertirte en miembro de nuestro Inner Circle. Qué conveniente, ¿verdad? Lo sé, pero es cierto. As a member, you can chat with other students, Spanish tutors, and come to the speaking rooms we regularly organize to help you speak Spanish. Check the link in the description if you're interested. Número 3. How to approach it. El aspecto psicológico del aprendizaje lo es todo. So, here's a little pep talk. No trates de entender palabras. Piensa en las ideas. This is actually how we listen in our native languages. No entendemos todas las palabras todo el tiempo. We get the idea by getting some of the words and associating them with the context. Date tiempo. I don't just mean in the long run, I actually mean in the shortest term possible. It's totally normal that you hear something and it's only after giving it some thought or stopping for a second that you understand what was said. Es como si nuestro cerebro se tomara un poco más de tiempo en procesar la información en un nuevo idioma. Ríete de tus errores porque los vas a cometer. The first real conversation will be stressful and hard. You won't remember words, you will feel clumsy, you will forget everything, you'll feel exhausted. And that's okay, and to be expected. Por lo tanto, espéralo y no cedas ante la frustración. When you feel that self-judgment coming, laugh it out. Your amazing brain is still learning from what you may feel it's a failure. Mejorará con cada conversación. Regular practice is key, which is why it's very important to treat yourself kindly so you keep up the motivation. Con esto, Deberías estar listo o lista para iniciar tu primera conversación. But wait, don't go without these 6 tricks on how to survive your first conversation in Spanish. Juan will take it from here and will prep you for that first conversation. Click the image on the screen and be prepared.